Okay, all four sports. UFC last night. Amazing card. 235. Johnny Jones. Woodley. You're looking at Lawler. We also had Cody Garbrandt, who I think can make a comeback. But let's talk about Garbrandt first. Let's take a peek at what happened. I tell you what, it was a fight that I was excited for. Was supposed to be Cody's return to the ring after losing a couple fights to his arch nemesis, and essentially what happened last night was him thinking that Munoz didn't have the striking power that he had. Cody was definitely the bigger fighter in the fight. I thought he would be able to overpower. They both suffer from shorter arms. So one thing I noticed, obviously the jab was not effective. It was an exciting fight. But in the end, Cody did not prevail. It went into a full-out bar brawl at the end of the fight. And essentially, Cody was betting on his power, but he didn't know Munoz's chin was so powerful, as well as his small defensive capabilities. That was a huge knee. So that would probably knock somebody else out. But Munoz is incredibly durable, and he was able to stand the test of time. And there goes the knockout that cut off the fight. Now, is there an issue here with Cody Garbrandt? Let's look at the fight stats, right hand side, and look at what we got. So for me, Cody Garbrandt is definitely a boxer, more so than a kickboxer, more so than a wrestler. His total vantage point, his total game is get inside, throw to the head, knockout. Look at his headshots. Okay, 90%, right? Landed to the head. Body 4, small leg kicks 4. Okay, so again, for me, this is Cody's downfall. He is now, to me, a one-dimensional fighter. That's his issue. He has to change his game up and include different areas. In my opinion, he looks like he has some more kickboxing ability or kicking ability that has not been fully vetted and needs to be. Obviously, the ground game needs some help. Obviously, okay. I think if Munoz got him to the ground, it would have been the same type of story where Cody's going to get beat up. He reminds me of what's his name, Conor McGregor, in the fact that Cody on the ground, looked like a horse that's sitting sideways. So it's just not going to work. It's not going to work. But great fight, great effort, big hits on Munoz. But Munoz, doesn't appear to have the damage that Cody has from his previous fights, and really against his losses against his arch nemesis. And it's a shame that he lost last night. But Munoz is moving up. What does Munoz do? Munoz is calling the top of the division. But who really is there, right? Who really is the top of the division now for the UFC lightweight crown? When you got the loss by Garbrandt, okay? TJ Dillashaw just lost. I mean, technically, but TJ Dillashaw went down to a different, lower weight class to try to win that. But really, it's Dillashaw at the top still. Versus Munoz would be a great fight, and I actually got no offense. I don't remember Dillashaw wrestling as much. He's also a striker. I think Munoz can wrestle just by those ears. I don't know if this is going to be a good fight for Dillashaw. I don't know if he wants it. All right, so Dillashaw versus Munoz looks like the next best fight. He's going to have to make his rounds. He's only ranked number 9. Does that move him up to number 2? Or number 3? I don't know, but I know it does for Garbrandt. Garbrandt has a long way back up. He needs to take time and reflect, take his time, and understand where he's going as a fighter, he needs to get some kick game, right? We saw the stats. He's not kicking enough. He's not landing any clinches. He doesn't want to get in the clinch. He has no ground game. It's the same old deal. Hey, I'm Mike Tyson. I'm going to knock you out. I got the most heavy hands. This is what happens when the chin is stronger than your hand. And Munoz proved that tonight. Excellent win from Munoz. Next fight. Ben Askren. I call him the old warthog, man. The country boy that could fight. And, boy, he got into a fight early, baby. I mean, if you looked at this in the beginning, hey, you're looking at it on the... Oh, look at that slam. It was a fight in the beginning, and Robbie Lawler looked like he was going to destroy this guy, but could not. I thought he was out. I thought they were going to stop it right there. But somehow, some way, the old country boy found his way. Let's jump into the stats. Robbie, another headshotter, right? But he has an all-around game. He can kick, great knee strikes, killing the man. I mean, literally opening him up like a pig. But boy, what I tell everybody, if there's a fight one-on-one and you're a wrestler and you're in close proximity, wrestlers are the best, some of the best fighters in the world because of what they can do when they get a hold of you. Kind of like what bear when he gets a hold of you. You know, it's like the cougar versus the bear. You know, the cougar's quicker. It can strike. It can move around. But once he gets close proximity to that bear, it's a long, long road. And again, I was surprised on what happened here because he was so gutted and opened up. I didn't think there was any chance in hell that Robbie Lawler was going to lose this fight. But here goes the transaction when he finally brings Robbie down, exhausted. He comes around. Watch this. Watch this, folks. And this is going to be controversial. He won by submission. Mr. Askren, look at the arm of Robbie Lawler to the left. Falls down. They stopped the fight. But then when he pulls us up, he somehow wakes up. I think he was out. If I was the referee, I would say he was out. But Lawler was very, very mad. Lawler was very, very mad. You look to be out, buddy. I don't know. I'm sorry. When you look at the replay, it is controversial. I think they should do a rematch. But look at this. Again, puts him on a rear naked choke. Not a rear naked choke, but a choke, standing choke. Boom, arm down. Thought he was gone. But the way he gets up here, he's not dazed at all. I don't know if he was really gone. But again, Askren, the country boy, wins by the ground game. All wrestlers are dangerous when they get inside. As you can see, obviously punching somebody out is more exciting, but the wrestlers will win the day. And Askren's moves on up the middleweight division. Let's look at the champions here at the middleweight division. Tyrone Woodley last night versus Kamaru Usman. And the advantages here were clear. Woodley is never, the chosen one is never going to be the guy that's going to be the longer arm guy. He's a short fighter, 5'9", for the 170 division. Usman is 6 foot, long arms. And I think, in my opinion, I think there was a little bit of rehydration, weight bullying in this match. Tyrone Woodley, a striker right now, but with a strong wrestling background, did not show any of that because I think in all his fights lately, he's been winning by the jab, right overhand knockout. And he's been doing it so consistently that I think he's lost a touch in his ground game because he hasn't had to use it. Tyrone is great at takedown defense. He did pretty good on this fight. But Usman is one of those Navy SEALs, Green Beret type fighters, 007, where any and all parts of the body will be used to fight. And as you can see here, while somebody else here in another fight would be trying to get position, right? They'd be trying to get position. Usman, at every moment, shoulder, knee, eyes, ears, whatever can touch you, he's going to try to hit you with it. And that was a difference maker in this fight. It was a long, sweltering fight, but it was a fight of just straight drudge. Think of slow molasses. Think of god darn oatmeal. I mean, this guy is a slow killer, stays in, and when he gets this close, and especially for the longer and heavier fighter, I think Usman is heavier and way heavier than Woodley. What a fight! Similar to performance of a Cormier in a way, with what he was doing, but this guy's to me a bit more talented with all the tools that he utilizes, swarming the body, making it an ugly fight. I will, however, mention Woodley did land a couple overhand rights that did stun Usman, but he could not capitalize. If you're just an average fan, you may not have seen it, but I saw a couple hits land that wobbled Usman, and I think it would be a great rematch for Woodley, coming back to the table, retraining, but also doing something else for me. I think Woodley needs to gain a little bit more. He needs to rehydrate better, because something was up. He didn't look the same cut up size Woodley. He is 36 years old now, but I think Usman is 31. But I really do think that Woodley was overpowered in this fight, more so than outclassed. He could not wrestle this guy down. Usman was just really just killing the guy. This was the biggest slam of the night that you just saw. 35% headshots landed, 52% body. Look at the clinch, right? I said drudge, and we proved drudge. 70% clinch for Usman. Trying to keep the distance on Usman would be difficult because he's only 5'9". He has short arms. So for him to win the fight, this is what he's going to have to focus on for his next fight. Leg kicks a la John Jones. That's how he's going to have to keep the distance in the next fight if he wants to win. Because Usman is just a grudge ground and pound brawler. And he won the fight decisively. Really just dominated Woodley the whole night. I don't think Woodley won a round. So excellent fight from that. Good to watch. It wasn't a grudge that was born to match. It was just like, wow, he is getting smothered. Face came out pretty good, but exhaustion came about. Body shots, just continued drudge. It really kills you. Next fight, top fight of the night. Johnny Jones, 6'4", 205, 205. I consider the same size. This was just a lesson. The reach advantage, I don't even think John really used it. That's a lie. He used it tremendously. All right. John Jones, look at the all-around action from the man. I mean, what else can you say? Look at this, okay? Look at this. 36% leg, head, 28, but look how well balanced. 36 leg, distance, 51%. Anthony did try to keep the distance, and he had to play a little bit of role, but 24% ground, clinch, 24% ground. I mean, all-around fighter, right? The blue would be the contender, by the way, if you didn't know that from the previous vantage points. I mean, just a great dominating fight. Anthony didn't know what he was getting into. John kicked off, started going to the body. That's the first thing you do in a long fight, not a street fight, right? A bare knuckle, you go for the head, but in a long fight, 5-6 rounds or 10 rounds, go for the body, because you know what happens in the later rounds. There's pain, there's grudge, and the fighter will not be able to go on. So pretty good fight from Johnny Jones. This guy has a lot of ads on his page. Go to his page because I'm using it. I lean on too. But again, just a lot of grudge in this fight. I really did feel bad for Mr. Anthony Smith, because it was his first fight in the octagon with this level of a fighter. He is an exciting fighter. He is a good prospect. He does have time. Excellent learning experience for him. He was trying to chess game John Jones when this guy is just an explosive fighter. That's what he would have to do. He just had to explode, go. His coach was constantly saying that, but after the body punches in the first 2 rounds, there's nothing his body had left to be able to go, coach, and that was the issue. So the strategy should have been, obviously, more leg strikes, more body strikes. He had no clinch game, and that would be his only chance. By the stats, he looks like he tried a little bit with the distance, but didn't get enough leg kicks, and that was, I think, one of his losing points. Not enough straight leg kicks to try to get Johnny off. Great fight by Jones. he is now headed to be one of the greatest champions in the UFC of all time. So it's going to be exciting to see who he fights next, or does he try to move up again? It'll be interesting to see him against one of the big, huge heavyweights and see how that comes out. I think they got too much power, but it'll be interesting to see. Great fight, 235, long video, but hey, I wanted to share it off work. I'm out of here, just recapping. Peace.